somebody told me that in Nichiren Buddhism, they don't use the statues, but seems like this person is wrong, or
Well, he's not wrong. There are some traditions, and again, this is the large variety of Nichiren Buddhism. So in some different sects that are not Nichiren Shu, they use that is their stance, though it hasn't always been that way. Historically, lots of traditions change their stance sometimes based on severity and also political situations, etc. But pretty much throughout Nichiren Buddhism, they always use the statue, and I'm going to share with you something really interesting. When Nichiren Shonin was alive, he carried with him a statue of Shakyamuni Buddha.
Oh.
Interesting, because this statue is really famous because there was a famous lord that was sick, a provincial lord, and Nichiren Shonin went and chanted the sutra and healed him. And as a gift for that to be healed, to be cured, he gave Nichiren Shonin a statue of Shakyamuni Buddha, in which he carried around for him till his death. So that's one of the kind of problems with saying that Nichiren Buddhists don't use statues, because Nichiren Shonin did. The most important thing is that, as I said, that it's based on the Lotus Sutra. So I've seen statues that are particularly, and this is the idea of eye-opening ceremony, which I'm sure you talked about with statues, that any statue, if it fits a certain standard, it's not a knick-knack, it's an actual carved statue. And as you know, with statuary, the amount of time, like treating wood, they let the wood sit in the forest so that it doesn't crack. And then the special carvers carve the statue in very specific ways. So when as a priest, I look at the face, because that face symbolized the essence of the Buddha. So if the face is kind of sideways or something like that, that's not appropriate for a honzon. However, when a statue is appropriate, we then do the eye-opening ceremony, which is a tradition passed on from Nichiren Shonin, and actually taught about in his letters, in which he talks about that actually statues and pictures can be imbued with the Buddha nature, and because it helps us in our practice, it supports us. Because when we see the Buddha, that's why most people become Buddhists, because of the Buddha, the symbolic nature of the Buddha, and even Nichiren Shonin. Those are very recognizable statues. Somebody said to me once, well, don't you get offended that people put the Buddha in their yard, etc.? Actually, it's fascinating to me that even I met people who are very devout Christians that had a statue of Buddha in their house that gave them joy because of the peaceful nature. And so people place the Buddha sometimes outside under the tree or in their garden, where I believe the Buddha needs to be, because it's a symbol of peace. However, a religious statue, a honzon, something used for worship or practice or meditation, is very specific. So, and we have that tradition in Nichiren Shu. So I would have to say that some modern traditions specifically are against that. I think because a lot of times they fight institutionalism, and sometimes those kinds of things are seen as institutionalized practices. So they have their own, they believe, kind of modern concept.